Hello and welcome back to the Spin the Rock podcast. I'm your host Angel, and with me today is my co-host.
Vaughn, and in case you missed it, I've been gone because I was doing contract renegotiations with Spin the Rock, and they gave me a company car, so here I am.
Yeah, how's the Mini Cooper working out for you, my guy?
The Mini Cooper, yeah, it's in a ditch, bro. The weather been here bad, like day one. So I hope the insurance is nice and tidy with it.
All right, trade deadline is officially over. A lot of big moves have happened so far this year. So why don't we get right into it because there's a lot to cover. First off, let's just get this out of the way. There's one team that somehow managed to mess it all up. And is there hope for any of this team? Because the Miami Heat was the only team in the East to not make any move. No, they didn't call up a G Leaguer or, get rid of some trash player. They said, we're interested in Giannis and called it a day. They're like, that's our trade deadline. How do you feel about this, Bond? What do you think of the Heat?
If it wasn't Giannis, and there had to have been other people calling up Pat Riley's phone, like, is Norman Powell available? I don't know if people love Tyler Hero, but maybe someone showed interest. I don't know. But if those calls came coming, Pat Riley was nothing, bro. It's ridiculous. I'm glad I am not a Miami Heat fan because this would be very frustrating. It happened with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's like, get me Damian Lillard, and instead they got Terry Rozier. Now it's Giannis, and now it's literally nothing. It's kind of just, I don't know what's going on in his head. They had a good start at the beginning of the year, and they just fall right into place into being back to this mid team. So it's just, I know everyone wanted Giannis, but even like the Timberwolves who were in the sweepstakes, the Warriors who were in the sweepstakes, they made a move to upgrade their team. And for the Heat to do nothing, that's like unacceptable, I think.
Yeah, bro. I said this in the chat, and I kind of wish Eugene was here today, but Eugene is doing some real big money moves right now. Bro, I think the Heat are on a fast track to being a poverty franchise. And I feel like it's just like, I know what most people are thinking is like, how is that possible? They've been so successful in the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. You can't call them poverty yet. Bro, this is like the Blazers. Like, we've seen this story before. And it's looking to repeat itself. They don't make any moves. They're not signing any free agents. It's just getting real sad out here. And not to say, like you mentioned, a lot of teams are in this sweepstakes for Giannis, and those teams still made a move. The Heat's package was also just terrible. They apparently offered a package that didn't include Bam and Norman Powell. Brother, I hate to break it to you, but those are the only players that the Bucks would probably want for Giannis. At least one of those guys in a lot of first rounds, maybe both guys. But to make a package and just be like, yeah, we'll give you Tyler Hero, Hame, and 2 second-round picks and a protected first round. That's probably what their package was, and the Bucks were probably disgusted because, like, nothing the Heat has to offer is exciting except for those two guys at the moment. I don't know. I see a lot of people clowning the Warriors for not getting Giannis and who they got instead. I feel like more people should be clowning the Heat for just how okay they are with being mid and just time after time wasting an entire season. It's just been really awful. Is it annoying that Giannis didn't get traded again? Yeah, sure it is. Like, this has been a trade rumor for 3 years now. Twice this 1 year alone. And so, like, it's crazy to think that, like, the Heat are just, like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their game plan is, but I have a feeling that the Heat are just going to keep accepting being a play-in team, and it's just going to lead to them being poverty in 2 years' time.
Yeah, it's just they probably would have had a Jimmy Butler championship, at least one, if they had, taken risks. Had they, gone for a superstar trade in that time.
Yeah.
And now we're just following the same suit, the same game plan. It's just, I guess, enjoy winning the play-in to lose in the first round of the playoffs every single year. At least the Bulls shook it up finally, for once. Because I know they're still probably priming for Giannis in the off season, but I feel like it'll be some random team that eventually lands him, because it's not like the Heat package gets crazy better. I guarantee you Pat Riley just doesn't want to trade, a Bam, a Norman, or whoever. Like, I seen Terry Rozier's contract was thrown in there. Like, obviously the Bucks don't want a man who can't play basketball. Maybe it just comes down to, like, the big contract they get in return is, an expiring one, so they don't have to deal with that money. But even then, that's not like, this is Giannis Antetokounmpo we're talking about.
Yeah.
Top 3 player in the world. So it has to be, you're gonna have to give up something, and it's gonna hurt. But you're getting Giannis, so you're okay with it hurting.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Heat are that confident. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sad to see, bro. It's just time after time the Heat are always in like deep within these really big trade rumors, and then just nothing happens. And so it's just like another trade deadline where both, like, just they didn't make the team any better. They did nothing, and the team is gonna be far worse for that. All right. Well, getting into trades that did happen, and teams that did make a move at the trade deadline. I'm pretty sure we talked about Trae Young the last time we recorded. So we're going to start off on February 1st when the Cavaliers acquired Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder, and Emmanuel Miller, with the Kings getting back DeAndre Hunter, and then Chicago being thrown in there with Dario Saric and 2 second-round picks from the Kings. How do you feel about this move for Cleveland? How do you feel about this move for the Kings?
The Kings, I mean, DeAndre Hunter isn't like the factor I think is going to help you win games all that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they're still trying to stay competitive. But we've been saying for them to blow it up for a while.
Yeah.
So the fact they didn't get any draft compensation or nothing is a head scratcher.
Yeah.
I like this for Cleveland because Keon Ellis has been, a hot topic among, like, defensive guards in the league, and I think the depth for the Cavaliers has been not at the guard spot. They just, once Donovan Mitchell, if he ever gets hurt, they start losing games.
Yeah.
Because then it was just Darius Garland, who's also injury prone. So the fact that they got Keon Ellis and then Dennis Schroeder, who's always one of those players we say is a good player, but not enough to keep. So I think he'll have a positive impact at the very least on the offensive end. So at least Donovan Mitchell can get some actual rest.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like what that means for Cleveland. Even the Bulls, for once, got draft compensation with Dario Saric. Dario Saric means nothing to me. But they did get 2 second-round picks, which is something.
Yeah. Well, Dario Saric meant nothing to the Chicago Bulls as well, because then on February 3rd, Chicago traded him to Detroit for Mike Conley and Jaden Ivey. So it was a 3-team trade. So Chicago got Mike Conley and Jaden Ivey. Detroit got Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric, and a 2026 first-round pick, or protected swap from Minnesota. And Minnesota got some good old-fashioned money. This one was crazy to me. Not because of who got traded, or not because of, Minnesota aspect, I feel like we've been saying get rid of Mike Conley for some time now. We kind of been saying that Mike Conley, not who you want to be your main point guard, with such a almost there team. You need someone who can do better for you. The part that surprised me the most when I saw this was Jaden Ivey getting traded. I understand that he has some issues with just injury problems and things like that, but I feel like it's just such a good talent that we just really haven't seen succeed, except for that one season. And it kind of sucks to see him finally part ways with Detroit. But yeah, how do you feel about this 3-team trade?
I was also surprised about Jaden Ivey because he's a guy who I feel like you put in your long-term plans regardless of injury history. Because when he's good, he's good.
Yeah.
It's just the problem is when he isn't there, it does hurt the team. I'm like, I thought they would have figured something out about that, but instead they're like, we need a shooter. Let's get Kevin Huerter. I get that because Duncan Robinson was only the other really guy who could shoot like that.
Yeah.
So I guess you get Kevin Huerter, but Kevin Huerter also feels like temporary. Like he'll be there maybe a couple seasons, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But he never really stays with any team he's ever on. So
yeah,
that's kind of the part that worries me. I don't know how to feel about Jaden Ivey in Chicago though, because are they looking at him to be their future shooting guard moving forward? Because they have so many guards as it stands. Like, I don't know who's going to end up staying, making the cut, carrying over to the next season and get re-signed, but it's got to be Jaden Ivey, right? Like,
hopefully, dude, because
I can't.
he's too good of a talent. I just feel like
I don't know.
when aging vet or sometime like injury prone young guard, like I'm sorry, Mike Conley's not an aging vet. He's like 1 foot out the league. Like he might retire.
I should mention Mike Conley did get traded again and waived, which made him eligible to return to the Timberwolves.
Oh.
And they do want Mike Conley to return to the Timberwolves. He's not signed the contract at this point, I don't think, but that is the plan.
Oh.
So we were talking about getting rid of Mike Conley, and they said, "Come back, buddy."
They said, "Welcome home." Well, never mind then. Yeah, then I hope Jaden Ivey sticks around, especially with what more the Bulls have done in these past few days. But I don't know. It's just crazy to see Jaden Ivey get traded. I think that's the part that really messed with me the most. It's just because I feel like he could have been something special with Detroit. It just hasn't panned out, and I guess Detroit was like, we can't wait any longer.
Yeah, and that goes with the theme, I think, of this trade deadline of like players who weren't really in like talks to get traded is traded.
Yeah.
So that's the theme.
Which leads us to great segue because on February 3rd, the Grizzlies traded Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Jazz. So the Grizzlies got Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, Jordan Yang, 3 future first-round picks, and Utah received Triple J, Jock Landale, John Conchner, and Vince Williams Jr. Low-key, we have to say the elephant in the room. How is John Morant still a Grizzly, bro? How is that man still a Grizzly? I'm shocked. I am dumbfounded. When I saw this, okay, at the time I saw this trade happen, I'm like, okay, Ja, any second now, Ja's gonna be the next, he's out of there too. Nope, just Triple J, which is wild, and I need to know why. But how do you feel about this trade and the Grizzlies situation?
I think I love this for the Jazz to take that swing because I was tired of them being like an unwatchable team.
Yeah,
like I don't even know how Jazz fans get by watching their games because there's like, yeah, okay, Keontae George is good, Lauri Markkanen is good, Walker Kessler will be back healthy, and when he does play, is a great defensive beast. But they lose. They lose and lose and they lose. So they got Defensive Player of the Year, former Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr. backup center, and Jock Landale. I don't know if he'll stick around. John Conchar's nothing. Vince Williams Jr. is a rotational piece, though, that they
Yeah,
could use.
that's
So
a good
at
pickup for them.
least, I don't think, I don't even know if Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to play all that much. I think they're tanking still because after those 3 firsts they gave for Jaren Jackson, 2026 wasn't included in that. So I think they want to be bad, get a good draft pick, and then be competitive for next year,
Yeah.
which is fine with me because I don't think they have any hope in really being competitive this year. I'm kind of interested what they'll do this offseason to bolster their bench as well.
Yeah.
But, just thinking the fit next to Walker Kessler is excellent because not only is Walker Kessler really good at defense, he's a rebounder. And the issue with Jaren Jackson Jr., he's a big man that doesn't rebound.
Yeah.
So that's like a perfect fit. I love that. And then I think the one worry for the Jazz is Keontae George because Keontae George has been good this year. But I think he needs to be an improved playmaker. I think he's sitting at like 5 or 6 assists a game. But if they want to truly be competitive, I think he's going to have to take an extra jump forward. Otherwise, I think they'll probably be floating in play-in territory and maybe squeeze into playoffs. But that's so much better than just tanking every single year.
Yeah. For sure.
So that's a big W for them. The Memphis, I don't care for any of these players really, but 3 first-rounders, I'll take that.
Yeah, what Memphis...
It does suck that Memphis... Yeah, go ahead.
What Memphis got is what made me really believe that John Morant was going to be traded like the next day. Because the players Memphis got, Reed, were tanking. 3 future first-round picks, Reed, were tanking. You gave up 2 really good... Like, let's be honest. Jaren Jackson Jr. already an amazing trade for Utah. Vince Williams, that makes a trade like from an A-tier trade to an S-tier trade. You got a star player and depth to your bench. So when I saw who Memphis got back, okay, we're looking at D-list players. I hate to say it, but we're looking at guys who on other teams will get maybe 5 minutes a game. So I honestly, like, seeing what Memphis got back, I was thinking, okay, Ja is gonna happen tomorrow or at least some point this week, and it just never happened. And so I'm kind of concerned on what Memphis's plans are moving forward, because how is the rest of the season gonna look for them? How's the offseason gonna look for them when you're tanking John Morant? Let's say he plays poorly for the next second half, you just ruined your trade stock. You don't have anyone else really. So I just feel like the Memphis right now are in a do or die moment where if they don't get rid of John Morant before next season, it's gonna be really, really ugly for the Grizzlies.
The thing is, I think the Grizzlies could afford to get ugly now that they've committed to wanting to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think it hurts John Morant more than anything because we just saw this trade line go by. Nobody wanted him. And this was after a point the Grizzlies, got picks back for Desmond Bane, got picks back for Jaren Jackson Jr. So I think you're okay if you didn't get a whole lot in return for John Morant, and they still didn't want John Morant. I don't know if this was true, but there was rumors that they needed to give up a first round to get rid of John Morant. And I think that's insane.
Yeah.
Especially for like a fringe team like the Heat. Like the Heat didn't want to take a gamble on that. That's kind of nuts. But the fact that he has such negative value at this point, like I always think the best of the John Morant is like he can get you 20 points easy.
Yeah.
Regardless whether he's having a good shooting night or not. And then it's just you look back at the history, not just on the court injury history, but like the suspensions probably does weigh into that because it's like a dual threat of on court he could get injured, off court, suspension incoming. And you kind of just see how John Morant has butted heads with the organization this season especially. So I think they just don't want that, bleeding over. Because I don't know if I don't know how much they value that in terms of trade talks, but it has to be quite a bit if they didn't even want to take a gamble on the man.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely not a good look for Ja. And if the Grizzlies, they're going to be tanking for sure. The rebuild is coming. It's just, are the Grizzlies, what are they willing to do to get something out of Ja? Are they confident that they can get a little bit out of him, or are they just going to maybe let him walk, whatever may be the case? We'll see. But it's just, it's just
It's
a,
crazy. They used to be like a second seed in the West.
yeah,
Like we were so optimistic about them, and it kind of just went wrong with the Dylan Brooks getting rid of him because we've
yeah,
seen him reshape the Rockets. He's been a big piece of the Suns now. So I think who was a critic of Dylan Brooks, kind of overlooked his, importance. But also the same year they got rid of Dylan Brooks was the same year they lost out Steven Adams, which was the perfect rebounder next to Jaren Jackson Jr. So after that happened, it was just downhill, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And it just doesn't help. It's been thing after thing with the Grizzlies, where it's injury problems, the suspension, Dylan Brooks drama. It's just like the Grizzlies haven't been able to catch a break. Rookies like not like performing. I mean, we got Edie. Grizzlies got Edie. People are like, there we go. We have a rebounder again. We have a center. Like, it's gonna be Lob City in Memphis. When was the last time someone said, "Did you see Edie's performance last night?" Like, no. But like, this man has become a non-factor. At one point, it really was just like Jaren Jackson Jr. and co. So I'm looking forward to see how they rebuild and what they can do next. But it's wild how far both the Grizzlies and John Morant have fallen in just a span of 3-4 years. All right, moving on to okay, moving on to February 4th. I'm also skipping some trades as well. Trades that I really don't care about. But skipping to February 4th, another big one, one that I really didn't see coming. Oklahoma City acquired Jared McCain from the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia got back 1 first-round pick for 2026 and 3 future second-round picks. Crazy move. How do you feel about this, Vaughn? What are your thoughts?
Thank God for Jared McCain getting out of Philadelphia because we've criticized the injury history of that what that medical team gets through,
Yeah.
and this may have saved Jared McCain's career low key. Um, and we've seen that the Thunder can develop young talent because like guys like AJ Mitchell and even Lou Dort at one point, I didn't really expect what their future could be in the NBA, and apparently it's key piece on a championship team.
Yeah.
Jared McCain, I think I've tempered my expectations because after his rookie year, those 30 games or whatever, where he's averaging 15, going crazy, I'm like, oh, this could be a future All-Star. This is like the guy right next to Tyrese Maxey. This is what they can build on, and I think he'll still be a good player, just not an All-Star. I think he'll be he'll be a rotational piece on this Thunder team who was primed to win another championship at some point, if not this season, some point in the future. So
Yeah.
I haven't given up my hopes on him. I just think it's crazy. Daryl Morey was like, yeah, we sold high on him. Like, this is better than we could have hoped for, which is crazy for a GM to say about a player, I think. Like, did he secretly hate Jared McCain? Like, I don't know what. Maybe the TikToks got to him or something.
Yeah.
I thought that was just insane for him to say.
Because they didn't sell high. Let's be honest. You got 4 draft picks on a guy who had a phenomenal season just a year ago. You probably could have gotten more. Like, let's be honest, bro. I'm pretty sure, like, this season has been disappointing for Jared McCain. Don't get me wrong. It's been a very quiet season for him after his insane season last year. It could be, I blame it on the Philadelphia just because I feel like it has to be injury. He isn't playing the same way he used to play. He's playing a completely different game. He's been sent up and down to the G League. It's just been like, I feel like they not fumbled because I don't want him to be there, but they did kind of screw themselves over once again with a wasted lottery pick, and to come out and say, "Oh, we got the best we could hope for out of it." Like, no, you didn't. Like, bet you got more for Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons didn't play a game for almost 2 years at that point. So I feel like the 76ers are delusional. I think they're just. I didn't expect them to hold on to him for too long. I expected him to get traded at some point in his career. If it was going to continue to be like this, I didn't expect them to give up on him so early, considering that he was the reason for most of their wins in like the first half of the season. He was outperforming all stars on that team, and it's just
it's like there's the thing called the sophomore slump, but it's made worse because he's coming off an injury.
Yeah.
And you're already giving up on him. Is wild, especially when you're like, we sold high on him. You got 3 second-round picks, and then the worst pick in this draft because it's the Thunder pick. That's going to be 30. So lottery pick for those picks you get lucky on if you get a good player out of them.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, the Thunder, they might be scary. They were already scary. If Jared McCain, I'm kind of on your side there. My hopes for him are definitely diminished. But that's only because we don't know what he looks like yet. I feel like we'll really get to see how he looks next year. If he's still performing kind of slow, that's kind of going to be very revealing. But like you said, sophomore slump with season-ending injury, most of your time in the G League, you're not going to play the same. But I feel like if the Thunder can use him correctly, if they can get his confidence back, that's going to be scary, bro. That's going to be very scary for the West. All right. Same day, this person didn't request this trade, guys. Okay? James Harden did not request to be traded from the Clippers. He did not request that at all. He went to Cleveland for Darius Garland and a future second-round pick. But, guys, James Harden didn't request it. How do you feel about this trade, Vaughn? What do you think this means for both teams?
Okay, I guess for the Clippers, they get a younger guard. I think the injury history is worrying because every playoffs, Darius Garland is either injured or just does not perform in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now we're kind of past the point where we can blame it on youth and inexperience, and it's just like you have to show up.
Yeah.
At the same time, James Harden, you weren't going to pay him. This way you don't lose him for nothing, and you get a former All-Star in return. I think that's pretty big for them. But I don't see Darius Garland reshaping this team into back into playoff contention. James Harden is very worrying to me in Cleveland because yes, he's been playing great basketball. Like he looks like he's putting up stats he was, back in Houston. However, he's so old, bro. 36 years old. And you can already see he's not as shifty, he's not as quick as he used to be. And I know Donovan Mitchell wants to play fast. So I wonder if that play style will get in the way. At the same time, wherever James Harden goes, the center feasts. So this could very much help Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
And James Harden finds a way to feed. Like he made Clint Capella look amazing.
People to
Joel
this day
Embiid
still
had some of the easiest looks ever.
Yeah. People to this day still call
Yeah,
Clint
and then
Capella
like
one of the best centers in the 2000s, bro, or in the 10s, in the 2010s, bro. People still say Clint Capella was him, and it's like James Harden. James Harden is the reason why. Like, let's be honest, bro. When Clint Capella went to the Hawks, when did he? He didn't carry that team. He did.
yeah,
He's done.
you didn't hear anything about him on the Hawks.
Yeah.
Bro, even Zubox. I know Zubox was good, but he was great when James Harden was playing with him.
Yeah.
So Jarrett Allen, I hope gets that same treatment. I think that one worry is going to come up is playoffs. At some point, James Harden's going to fizzle out, and you got to hope, Evan Mobley and especially Donovan Mitchell can, carry past the other team. Because we have such a long history to look at of James Harden in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I would like to hope it's just by default better because Darius Garland is still kind of playing through injury this season. So at the very least, you've improved your chances in this playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know what the future looks like. I don't know if James Harden's going to request a trade because you don't get the money he wants at 36 years old. But at least you've improved this playoffs, which I do like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Clippers. It's just the hammer's coming eventually. You got to do what you can before that happens. Darius Garland, not an amazing pickup, which is crazy to say because he was heart of Cleveland for some time before Donovan Mitchell. But still a good pickup. It's still a player who can get you into high seeding play-ins, maybe sneak into the 6th seed. He is that type of player. And if the Clippers, depending on what their hammer is, they do have a solid roster, and they surprised us before in the past. It's like what you said, though. All this is going to lead to is this disappointment in the postseason. This is not going to lead to a finals run, a conference finals run, or even a second round run. It's going to lead to maybe getting swept in the first round, maybe putting up a good fight in the first round, and a couple play-in wins to make it to the playoffs. But I don't think they're going to do anything exciting anytime soon. It feels like James Harden, if he requested a trade or not, who cares? It happened. And so it's just what this looks like for LA is just, we gotta do something. We gotta have some form of faith. So I think Darius Garland might be fun for the Clippers. James Harden being there, it really was kind of James Harden's team. He was by far the most outstanding player there, and he wasn't really the type of guy who was getting everyone involved. That could change. We might see some new style in LA. Cleveland, I don't think this is going to work at all. Like you said, Donovan Mitchell wants to play fast. James Harden was never a fast player. That was never his thing. Like you said, Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley might be good, but I just feel like you have very two competing styles here. And not only that, but Donovan Mitchell's gonna be the primary guy. How is that gonna look for James Harden? I don't think we ever seen that James Harden, mostly because he hasn't been able to play with other guys, but it's been a while since we've seen James Harden really have to be option B. So I'm excited to see what that looks like for Cleveland, but I just don't think it'll work. I just think it's going to result in the same thing it has been every year, and I just think Donovan Mitchell is going to be out of there any second now, bro.
I do think a factor of what even led to this trade in the first place, because if Donovan Mitchell signed that extension already, I don't think they would have done it. I don't think they would have traded for James Harden.
Yeah.
And it's been annoying to watch them just run it back. And the fact that they actually did something is kind of a relief to me. I think in a vacuum, if it was just the James Harden trade, they didn't do anything else, I would be worried. But they do have Schroeder and Keon Ellis off the bench.
Yep.
So defense and then a slashing guard, which is, promising.
Yeah.
which I think I have a little more faith in them come playoff time. I've been disappointed by them before. That was Darius Garland era. And we haven't even seen Max Strus, suit up, I don't think, so far because he's been injured. And that'll be a guy who will definitely feed off of looks created off of James Harden. So
Hmm.
I think defensively, they will look, pretty threatening. This doesn't fix their defensive starting lineup though. Darius Garland and Don Mitchell were smaller guards. Um, James Harden not as small as Darius Garland, but we know he doesn't play defense, especially not at 36 years old. That'll always be the one worry. That probably will kick him out of the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, interesting move because I wasn't expecting James Harden to get moved at all. It goes
Yeah.
goes back to the theme of like players getting traded, really. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things that made this deadline a little more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis, that might, shake it up a little bit more. But, you know, I don't know. I can't have faith in the Cavs. It's just, I, I've just been a doubter for a long time. I had hopes that first 2 years, haven't had hope since. So we'll see what happens. But next up, February 5th, the Cavs made more moves, but this time trading away Lonzo Ball and two future second round picks for Jock Landale. And the reason why I'm not skipping over this one, because I think it's exciting to see how involved the Jazz were this trade deadline. Um, I think it's okay pickup for the Jazz, but I think a really good move for Cleveland, just because I feel like Lonzo Ball been excited for his return. It just hasn't been the same, which isn't surprising. It's been a long time since he's been on the court. It's a pretty serious injury he had. He had to relearn how to walk. But I think it could be exciting for the Jazz, especially because they have a whole half a season to burn to see if it can work or not. How do you feel about this trade?
I think Lonzo got waived, so he's a
Oh,
free agent
really?
now.
I did not see that.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunate because I don't know what team would take the gamble to see if he does find his older self. His
Hornets.
shooting percentages are dreadful.
Yeah, bro.
Right. Maybe just for the vibes, bro. LaMelo and Lonzo together, that would be a move. Um, Jack Jock Lond Jock Landale is never a player I'm like wooed by, like, but he'll be a good solid backup in or Atlanta. Um, if they want to try to be competitive in the post Trey Young era. I'm not expecting big things from him, but at least it's something. But yeah, that Lonzo Ball, the Cleveland move to replace Ty Jerome with Lonzo Ball. Like I saw the vision, I just wasn't expecting for Lonzo's play to fall off a cliff.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was
just
bound to
just
happen, though.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's one of those things like he'll probably be a what if player. Like what if that injury never happened, and it's just kind of sad to see.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's just like it's such a serious injury. Of course, your play is gonna be really rough. I think the Cleveland maybe had some hopes that it wouldn't be as bad as it has been. Um, I know the Hornets wanted to trade for him, so maybe they might pick him up, um, just to probably please Lonzo, um, keep him happy because they are on a hot streak right now, or were. I don't know if they lost recently. But it's just it's just crazy, kind of how fast it went downhill for Alonzo Ball, especially because on the Bulls before the injury he was looking like a new man. He was playing a completely different style of game. One of the reasons why they were a first seed, and then it just kind of went downhill. And so hopefully something does exciting does happen for him but I doubt it's going to be anytime soon. Um, Moving on. I kind of wanted to skip this one, but I feel like we can't skip the legend. Chris Paul in a 3-team trade. Toronto received Chris Paul. Brooklyn received Ochai Agbaji, a 2023 second-round pick. Did I say Brooklyn received this? I did. From the Raptors, and the Clippers received the rights to Bojan Marjanovic by Brooklyn. Did he get waived? Did Chris Paul get waived?
All I saw was they told Chris Paul not even to report in. So they said don't even come to the city. So it's not promising.
Why did they do the trade then?
I think it was a money saving move.
Oh.
So they're now under the cap and they avoid some of the luxury tax, I believe. A lot of these moves you'll see, some of the moves we skipped are money saving moves.
Yeah, and those I knew for sure that's what it was. So I skipped that. But I wanted to talk about Chris Paul because I didn't know if he got waived or not, because I'm pretty sure I saw a rumor that he would be, but I haven't seen anything yet. It's just sad to see him go out like that, especially when he has such a good thing going on in San Antonio. He put aside a good thing to kind of have a fairy tale ending, and it's just been a nightmare. The Clippers are under investigation. You're being called a cancer, toxic to the locker room. You're getting traded to a city that doesn't even want you. It's just like it went from, he could be a really good mentor for a young team, not a lot of pressure on him. The Spurs are just happy to have him, to this short little man, I hate his face, don't come to Canada. You know what I'm saying? It's just wild, dude.
Yeah, if this is how the NBA career fizzled out, what a way to fucking go out. Like, this was supposed to be the retirement tour.
Yeah.
You're taking it easy breezy. Even so, like, his passion for the game is what got him in trouble in the first place. He didn't want to go out quiet. But looking in the future, if he doesn't get signed and this is how it ends, well, we all know he is the point god.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll find like a coaching role, whether it be in the NBA or in college or something. Because I think he's probably one of the greatest basketball IQ minds to ever play. So I think it'd be a shame if this is just how he walks away from the game entirely. Which isn't his fault necessarily. The Clippers organization is a joke, so I can't be too mad at Chris Paul himself.
No, and it's just like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I feel like most people have taken Chris Paul's side in this whole ordeal. I feel like more people are mad at the Clippers and kind of how they handled the situation than they are at Chris Paul, even though the Clippers went on a generational run slandering his name. And somehow it was leaked that no one came to his fucking birthday party. Like, it's just like the Clippers like hired like the top PR team in LA just to make this man look like a fucking fool. And all it did was make people hate their franchise even more. So it's just crazy to see.
Hey, shout out Bradley Beal and Zubox, bro. I know they're the only two that actually went to that party. The rest of them are fake as hell.
Yeah, for real, bro. All right. Moving on to the other side of LA, we have Lakers. They finally did it. They got rid of Gabe Vincent to Atlanta, 2023 second round pick, and they got Luke Kennard back, which I'm not going to lie, the Lakers fans hated that man, hated Gabe Vincent, been asking for him to get that axe. And the Lakers actually got a pretty good piece back. How do you feel about this trade, Vaughn?
Just getting rid of Gabe Vincent is a is a plus, a positive. Getting back Luke Kennard is just the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Now you got a shooter. Shooting's been a problem, and now you got something to remedy that. Hopefully, I
Yeah.
think the one thing about Luke Kennard is when I watch Luke Kennard, he's only taking the 3-point shots he knows he's gonna make. That's why his 3-point percentage is so damn high. But for a guy who's known as a shooter, he's pretty low volume. So I wonder if that's gonna change at all. JJ Redick is just like shoot everything that comes your way. Especially
Yeah.
playing next to Luka and LeBron, you're gonna have wide open looks like crazy. So hopefully that even picks up even better. However, Lakers curse, man. You get to the Lakers, some guys just don't know how to play ball no more.
Yeah.
So you gotta break that curse. Luke Kennard might be the one to do it.
I don't think he is, bro. I think Luke Kennard is gonna suffer. I think the Lakers curse not only applies, like you said, great players come to the Lakers and all of a sudden they forget how to play basketball. It happens to players who are needed for a specific thing too. Like we saw this all the time where they trade for a guy whose specific role is to add something to the Lakers. DeAndre Ayton. Oh, we need a big man. Let's get DeAndre Ayton. Bust. Anthony Davis. He's a power forward who can space the floor. He wants to play a guard. Russell Westbrook. Oh, he can. He's an all-around offensive threat. Can't shoot the ball can't shoot the ball even less than he could before. And now Luke Kennard, we really need shooting. None of our guys can really hit the three. This guy who already is kind of, pick and choose with his three-pointers. You're going to expect him to shoot more out of nowhere? Yeah. I hope you enjoy your 3 months in LA, buddy. Because it's...
You know what shocked me is DeAndre Ayton survived the trade deadline.
That really shocks me, dude.
But at the same time, what?
I agree. That really shocked me.
Oh, yeah. Just this man has horrible vibes. Like, not just like him in the locker room, like butting heads with JJ Redick. It feels like, but even on the court, just watching him give up. Like I thought LA was supposed to be like a new change of scenery. You get a new mindset. But bro, for a guy who's so talented at scoring around the rim, he just doesn't get open, and he's calling for the ball. Like if this was 2K, it's call for pass ignored, and then your teammate grade plummets. It's happening every single game. It feels like, and it's just I don't know. I get why it'd be so hard to move off of him because I don't think he's got a market all that much. I mean, the man signed a minimum contract. There's basically no market.
Yeah.
But if you had to get rid of a Marcus Smart to find, a better center upgrade, I would have been behind that move. But this being the only move for the Lakers, I'm pretty sure
It is
a little bit of a disappointment considering you kind of want that championship run as soon as possible. Because this might be your only year of LeBron and Luka together.
Yeah.
So any way to optimize that, and only Luke Kennard is definitely a disappointment.
Not only that, but Luka has not once expressed interested in staying in LA.
True.
So it's just like, I mean, he might resign. It's a very strong possibility. But not once has he really been like, yeah, I love it here. I'm gonna stay here for the rest of my career. He's kind of just been, uninterested in those type of questions and commenting on that. So this could, like you said, this very well could be one of your last shots. You don't have a lot of time left. New ownership, and you get rid of a guy that doesn't do well. Replace him with a guy who fits a specific niche. But if I'm thinking short window, I'm swinging for the fences. I'm trying to make a big splash. I'm not going just for we need to improve our shooting. I'm going we need to become 1 seed at the end of the season. So getting rid of not getting rid of DeAndre Ayton, kind of not growing your bench, just kind of doing this one player trade kind of deal. I don't know. I think it's good for them, but it's also like concerning because like what do you have planned? LeBron is probably gonna retire. Like he's basically saying it in every interview that this is his last year. So it's just like maybe you still have some time, but it's your window is closing very fast. All right, moving on. Should we talk about? Yeah, we'll talk about it. Chicago with another move. The Chicago received Gushon Yabusele for Dalen Terry. I'm bringing this up because we talked about his trade to or his move to New York. We were really excited for him and the Knicks. We thought it was going to be a really good fit. Now he's gone in Chicago. How do you feel about this, Vaughn?
Well, considering Yabusele was up to nothing in New York, moving on to him for Dalen Terry. I'm not big on Dalen Terry, but at least it's a different skill set, different position. So maybe Dalen Terry will do more. And Guershon Yabusele, I feel like wasn't gonna ever crack the rotation in New York, given how many forwards are already there.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at his competition in Chicago, and it's Patrick Williams, who is a bust. So hopefully this revitalizes him and, back up to double digits in points, looking like what he was in Philly.
Yeah.
Proving he's a NBA caliber player. But yeah, I like the Chicago. It's kind of a Hail Mary to see what comes of it, because it could just be nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, they could just regress, but you're in this position where you're not really playing for much, so might as well see what comes of it.
Yeah. Chicago has been making a lot of moves. I like this one. Like you said, we had high hopes for Yabusele, but he didn't crack the rotation, and it was going to be hard for him to do so. Now you're going to Chicago. They're shaking it up so much this trade deadline that you're going to be given a shot. It's just you're going to have to make the most out of it. We have a soft spot for Yabusele on this podcast. All right. And then Knicks made another move that same day. They received Jose Alvarado. They traded that man, Dalen Terry, the second they got him. New Orleans got him and 2 second-round picks. How do you feel about this pickup? New Orleans, another team who didn't really do much. I saw Jose Alvarado get traded. I said, oh, they're going to blow it up. Nothing. I think this was their only thing they did this trade deadline. So how do you feel about it? Good move for the Knicks. Good move for the Pelicans.
Great move for the Knicks. I love a gritty defender, especially for a guard.
Yeah,
I'll take that any day. And you only gave up Dalen Terry, who I wasn't big on already.
Yeah.
And it just costs you a little bit of second round picks. Like, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
You improve your playoff chances, and you basically give up nothing.
Yeah. Awful move for the Pelicans. Like, this is your only move? Come on now. What are you gonna? How are you gonna build up with just 2 second round picks and a guy who's been traded in the span of 2 hours twice? Like, if you're looking to rebuild, if you're looking to do something, you're doing it the wrong way, my guy. It's not 1 year at a time, because all you're doing is making yourself worse. You're not really rebuilding. You're not blowing it up. You're just, gradually chipping away at paint. Like it's awful.
I did see the GM or the front office believes their roster is a playoff roster when healthy. So whatever they're drinking, I need some of it, because that delusion is crazy.
Yeah, bro. You are one of the worst teams in the league, and you think getting rid of Jose Alvarado was the answer to making the playoffs.
Oh boy.
That's crazy, dude. Oh man, yeah, that's rough, dude. Good for the Knicks. I mean, insane pickup for how little you gave up. Like, it's it's just gonna make them more gritty than they already are. They already play a different kind of basketball in New York. Jose Alvarado, he's a good player. Like, don't get like people see him as a guy that hides in the corner and steals the ball. He actually has a really good defensive set for a guard. And just adding that to the Knicks, who already have defensive capabilities, just adds that depth to where as their starters come off, their bench can keep being defensively strong. So, and Jose might even start. Who knows? I don't think he will though.
No universe. Unless Jalen Brunson's like legs have been chopped off, there's no way.
I mean, granted, it's not Tibbs anymore, so he at least he'll see the court.
Exactly, yeah. The 6-man rotation isn't there no more.
Yeah. All right. Chicago again, same day. They traded away Kobe White and Mike Conley Jr. Chicago received back from the Hornets Dieng, Colin Sexton, second round pick for 2029, 2031 second round pick from New York, and a 2031 second round pick from Denver. I feel like it was only a matter of time for Kobe White. How do you feel about this trade?
I thought Kobe White was going to go to the Timberwolves. If we had done a trade deadline episode with like upcoming trades, I think that was one of mine. But to see him in Charlotte, I'm conflicted because I didn't know Charlotte really had a need for him. But you know, when LaMelo Ball inevitably goes down, at least you have a scoring guard to replace that production. As far as Chicago goes, let me just list off Kobe White, Gooch, DeMar, Caruso, Zach LaVine. Not one of those guys went for a first-round pick.
Yeah.
So.
And it's because they
Joke
held
franchise.
On to him. They held on to him for way too long.
True.
I think Kobe White was so hot 2 years ago. Last year even, you could have gotten a first-round pick. You waited another year. You let him kind of diminish a little bit, and now you tanked his value.
And they got another guard out of it too, like Colin Sexton. Is like I didn't think he had crazy trade value before. I don't know if they are gonna find a way to move off of him later.
Yeah.
So now they're stuck with the 7 or 8 guards, But at least they did get some picks out of it, even though they're 3 seconds. Maybe that comes something. I don't know.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, Chicago made a lot of moves this year. Oftentimes, it looks like they're just trying to hoard picks. So at least they're doing something this year. At least they're finally doing something to take a step in some change. Kobe White and the Hornets, I think that's a good pickup for them. First 8-win game streak since 2000. LaMelo Ball, he's going to go down some point this season. He's going to go down some point next season. He might even ask for a trade here any second now. Kobe White can be a really good off-the-bench guy. Maybe every once in a while, maybe you could do Kobe White and LaMelo. I think their guard position is kind of thin in the fact that they don't have a good, solid backup for LaMelo. It's clearly bench guys, rotational players. They don't have a guy who can easily be that 6th man, and I think Kobe White could be that guy. But it just sucks that you're right. Mike Conley is going to be the one going back to Minnesota. And Kobe White could have easily been that guy.
Oh, I forgot he was in there. I know. He can only go back to Minnesota because he was traded twice. If he was traded once and waived, this would never have been a possibility.
Yeah.
But apparently this is part of like
a grand
whatever
scheme.
The trade rules are.
All right. Moving on. The Bucks did do something this trade deadline. Don't get me wrong. They didn't get rid of Giannis, but they got rid of Cole Anthony. That's right, guys. The Suns received Cole Anthony and Amir Kofi from Milwaukee. Milwaukee received Nigel Hayes-Davis from Phoenix, Dieng from Chicago, and then Chicago received Nick Richards. I'm going to be shocked if I don't see Nick Richards' name again, because that's what Chicago is doing. They've been they've been getting these guys and instantly getting rid of them. How do you feel about this? It looks like the Bucks were preparing to rebuild. Looks like the Bucks were preparing to do something big, but they didn't. I'm pretty sure this was their only move.
This is the biggest nothing trade for me personally so far. Even like the other trades, like a money move. This is important for a team getting under the luxury task or the first apron or something like that, and now it opens up next season's money or something. This one, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. If I'm just taking at face value of the players, maybe Phoenix gets a little better with Cole Anthony, but Cole Anthony hasn't been all that great for the Bucks.
No, he hasn't.
Considering, but that could just be they're the Bucks. I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe he's a rotational piece for them. But other than that, I don't really have much to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to say either. I brought it up because, like I said, it made me think that the Bucks were about to do something crazy. It made me think that they had something in store. And also, Cole Anthony was, at the time, a pretty exciting pickup for the Bucks. Or not exciting, that's the wrong word to use. But a solid, it meant something. Now he's gone, half a season later to Phoenix, who are looking to turn things around. So maybe he can help really make that turnaround in the standings complete. But other than that, it's just whatever. Chicago just dared to get rid of a guy. It's whatever. Same day, February 5th, Chicago once again making moves. And I'm only bringing up this one because of Rob Dillingham. Chicago received Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller, a 2026 second-round pick, a 2027 second-round pick, a 2031 second-round pick, a 2032 second-round pick. Minnesota got Ayo Dosunmu and Julian Phillips. Rob Dillingham is officially no longer a Timberwolf. What a sad, sad way for that era to come to an end.
If you can call it an era.
Yeah, two years.
If you have to give up on your second year player, that's rough. And I don't know if Leonard Miller was ever going to become anything either. But Chicago gets another guard and a lot more second round picks, and Minnesota receives a shooter who can also defend in Ayo Dosunmu. I don't know what Julian Phillips is like, but Ayo Dosunmu is a plus. Only concern is, Ayo Dosunmu is shooting like 40% from 3-point range.
Yeah,
like career high. It's shocking. I didn't know he was going to become this good. I always thought he was a bum until this year. But it doesn't fix the Timberwolves' main concern, which was playmaking. So, another shooter, another defender, but the glaring issue is still there. So, it's probably going to be the death of them in the playoffs, I guarantee you. But at least it'll look a little more pretty with, Dosunmu shooting.
Yeah. Bro, it's so sad that Rob Dillingham, their shot at fixing their playmaking is now their death of playmaking. What was supposed to bring playmaking to life in Minnesota, it dies with that same man because now they really have nobody. Like, at least Rob Dillingham, maybe you could say, oh, he's gonna, like, any second now, he's gonna get there. Now you really don't have anybody. Like, now you can't even have hope of your playmaking getting better. This is how it's gonna be for the rest of the year. Mike Conley is gonna come back. He's gonna be the same old geriatric he has been in Minnesota. And so, it's just like, yes, the 3-point shot was kind of a problem for them in the playoffs last year. But who knows if that would have been a problem if they had a real point guard. Now it's just like, yes, you made it better, but theoretically, yeah, you can have guys who shoot the ball, but if you can't get them open, if you can't move the ball around well enough to get those guys shots off, it's not going to matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, just every close game, it feels like it results in hero ball for Anthony Edwards. Like, he's taken and sometimes making some crazy shots, and it wins them the game. But I've seen, Anthony Edwards take these crazy shots because he's got no one to set the plate for the rest of the team. It shoots him out of a game sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's okay in the regular season, but when playoffs come around, you're going to see that become a very big issue.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Finally, a team of ours is mentioned. The Hornets don't count. And Eugene's not here. So the Lakers don't count. But the Celtics made a move on February 5th, same day. Chicago made another move. They traded away Vooch and a 2027 second-round pick for Anthony Simons and a 2026 second-round pick. I'm going to let you take it away, see how you feel about it, because I only have the Chicago side of things. I want to hear what a Celtics fan has to say about this move.
Bucci Mane has been on the target list of Celtics fan base for a very long time, and I actually can't believe they landed him. I really thought it was if we're trading Anthony Simons, it would be like a money move where you get like a bum like Yusuf Nurkic just because he's way cheaper than Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
And not only is Nikola Vucevic a little cheaper, so it does help the money a little bit, but bro, I just saw his debut. Him not only shooting the ball, like very timely, very reliable, passing the ball higher IQ than most standard centers these days. Like, not a Jokic type, but you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Like, and just also post-up scoring. I don't remember the last time we had a reliable post-up scorer at the center position. Like, I'm just going through in my mind Aaron Baines, Daniel Tice. There was, I guess, Kristaps Porzingis at certain points. But he was a temporary player. He was a part-time player, as much as I love him. But Vooch, that's actually way more exciting, especially the fact that we kept Neemias Queta. So we'll have Vooch be the offense, and then Queta will be the defense. That's a good 1-2 punch. I'm excited to see how that works out. And the fact we didn't have to give up any first-round picks that's a cherry on top for me as a Celtics fan. A second round or a second rounder. That's like I love this trade for the Celtics. We're filling that center need. I'm no longer really worried all that much about that now. I'm just thinking, is Jason Tatum coming back or not? We'll have to see how it comes playoff time. I will miss Anthony Simons. As much as I was scared of his defense, he's a flamethrower off the bench. He was kind of filling that Peyton Pritchard role, but it was just, it was seamless almost, which was the most surprising fact. He will be missed, but oh my God, bro, I don't know how the guard setup is, bro. We've listed every Chicago trade has been a guard involved somehow, so it's going to be a bloodbath who's fighting for those minutes.
Yeah, bro. So Chicago, that's where I wanted to take over. Chicago getting another fucking guard and giving up only getting another second round pick. It's really, really rough out here for Chicago. Because it's like trade fodder is almost what it feels like a lot of these guys are. So I can't really sit here and be like, how is Anthony gonna look at in Chicago? Because let's be honest, he's probably not gonna be there for longer than a year and a half, if even. Um, it's just. It just sucks to see because I agree with you. I thought Boston and Anthony Simons was like a match made in heaven almost. It was like, oh shit, this is working out way better than anyone could have hoped for. And now he's gone because, at the end of the day, yeah, a bench player who's, lighting up the court is fun. You've been needing a center for some time now. And, after losing so many in the past seasons. So you have that guy you've been looking for. And Chicago, it's just really sad. It's officially over. Every player from that first seed hot streak team are gone. Levine's gone, Lonzo's gone, DeRozan's gone, and now Vooch is the last one to leave. And it's just crazy to see that after all this time, the most they got from it was a couple no-name guards and a lot of second-round picks. And I just feel like if you told us that 2 years ago, maybe even last year, we would look at you like you were crazy. But that's what ended up happening. They didn't really get much out of it, and now they're in the same situation they were before they got all those guys. They're in the exact same situation they were in 2016, bro. And it's crazy to think about that.
Yeah, like, we were saying tear it all down, but I didn't know tearing it all down would have been like a fire sale. Like,
Yeah.
every player went out for so cheap. Insane.
All right. Next up, Pacers and Clippers enter a trade. Indiana got Zubac and Kobe Brown, who I'm surprised is even still in the league. LA receives Benedict Mathurin and Isaiah Jackson, a first-round pick for 2026, a 2029 first-round pick, and a 2028 first-round pick. The NBA has first-round picks they can take away now.
Oh man,
What a crazy trade, dude! I'm devastated.
I think this will be healthy for Mathurin. I think he's got to be the starting shooting guard for LA, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think bodes well considering he was really just a bench piece for the Pacers. As much as I love him, but
Yeah.
I think that was just kind of always his destiny in Indiana. So I think he gets a bump up in his role, his importance. He'll be like, I expect him to be the young guard of the future for the Clippers, which could be good or bad depending on how that franchise moves in the future. But I love this for Indiana.
Yeah.
Zubac, when Halliburton returns, Harden was already feeding Zubac as he was. Halliburton's going to be also sending him feasts. He's just rebounding, defense. He could score in the post and the interior. He's like Boston needed a center. Indiana needed a center after Miles Turner was gone, and now you got him. Obviously, a very different player from Miles Turner. Miles Turner was capable of shooting the three. So we'll see how that game plan shifts when Halliburton does return. But this is a big W for Indiana. Mathurin's gone. Isaiah Jackson was a backup center at best.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about.
And now you want to be. Yeah. And then, you lose some first-round picks, but you've already shown you're a competitive team. So those first-round picks, your Indiana picks, might not even be, good. They could be like 25 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was such an interesting trade. I didn't see this one coming either.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I agree with everything you said. Indiana needed a center. It seems like their plans for replacing Turner just haven't been playing out well. It's just they need a guy who they can easily rely on in that position. And Zubac and Halliburton together is going to be I can see a pretty perfect fit. And even like Kobe Brown, Like he's not like a guy who excites me, but like he might be good for them. A forward who can maybe do some things here and there. But like I just think like what's really blowing my mind is how many first round picks LA got. I mean, 3 first round picks, all in like the next.
It's two and up.
Huh?
2 first and 1 second. Isn't
Oh,
it 2
sorry.
first, 1 second?
It is 2 first, 1 second. Never mind. I'm not surprised anymore. I thought it was 3. Never mind. I take it back.
Yeah, 3 would have been massive.
3 would have been crazy. Yeah. I take it all back then. Never mind. But still, I just feel like the Clippers are preparing for something bad. I think they know the hammer is coming down. Because there's no way you do trades like this, after doing so well last year. And it's just like they must be hearing
these
something.
Trades aren't. Yeah, bro. These trades aren't what an innocent franchise are making.
Yeah, exactly. So someone has an insider at NBA who's going over to LA and being like, "Hey, they're getting close to a decision," and so LA's like, "Okay, let's make sure that we can get something to take away that won't really hurt us, because they could lose those first round picks and be like, oh no," but in reality, they lost something they never really had. So I just think it's definitely a really good indication about what's coming for LA, and they're just preparing for the worst. All right. Next up, Warriors and Atlanta enter in a trade. Atlanta receives Kuminga, Buddy Hield. Warriors receive Porzingis, which I do have to say real quick. Everyone kept making jokes. They wanted Anthony and they got Giannis and they got Porzingis instead. This is the most Warriors center they could have ever acquired, bro. Like, I couldn't think of a more center perfect for the Warriors. A 7-footer who doesn't really play in the paint. How do you feel about this trade, Vaughn? What do you think for both teams?
Thank God I don't have to hear about Kuminga trades from the Warriors no more.
Yeah.
Thank God. I was sick of it, and I think Kuminga's moving at least to a place he'll find minutes, but he's playing behind Jalen Johnson and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, so he's just a bench guy again.
Mm-hmm.
A true bench guy. So whether he's pleased or not, I don't think it matters. That's where he's stuck for the time being. Buddy Hield, I seen Warriors fans sad he was leaving, but bro, you got way too many guards. I think you should be okay. It's Buddy Hield. Like between, obviously you got Steph, you got Podge, you got Gary Payton, you got Moses Moody, you got I'm probably missing 1 or 2 at this point, but yeah, you can afford to part with him. Going with Porzingis is interesting because of the 3-ball. Like, when Porzingis plays, even this season, he's been great. Like defensively, offensively, he could be a very important punch to both ends of the ball. But bro, the mystery disease has been determined. It's POTS. And
oh, really? I didn't even know
him
that.
as an athlete with, yeah. So he's got POTS, and it's like, how or if they can even, manage that properly where he can continue being an athlete would be amazing. I don't know if that's, viable, or if he'll be like retiring in the next few years or even soon, but he's trying. You can see when he does play, he's like basically all-star caliber. It's just that availability is such an issue.
Yeah.
Like, we
for
don't
sure.
know how much games you're going to get out of Porzingis, which is really annoying. And this isn't even considering, like, oh, maybe he tweaks a leg or something, which is also an issue in itself. But, is Steph Curry playing next to a guy who's actually 7 feet tall? Like, thank God, bro.
Yeah.
Like, how many years did we go through where they need someone who's over 7 feet tall and they keep playing Kevon Looney or Draymond at center consistently? And that was just as good as they gave an effort for. It just you can't compete with a 7 footer, especially
Yeah,
one that can shoot like this.
yeah,
Um, and shout out to ESPN for the awful like predicted trade lineup where they had Al Horford at power forward starting and then Draymond at small forward. Dreadful lineup, bro. What were y'all cooking?
yeah. Yeah, bro. I mean, I think I saw the trade package for Giannis included Draymond, um, and Draymond was like pretty certain he was gonna get traded this deadline. Didn't happen. He survived another year. Um, I will say, like I said, people are clowning them for getting Porzingis over Giannis. Porzingis is literally the perfect center for the Warriors in a sense of the reason why they never get a 7 footer is because they don't want a 7 footer who plays like a 7 footer. And so, that's why they've been going with their small ball 6'6", centers. But now they have a guy who's actually 7 foot and can do the things the Warriors been wanting out of their centers this entire time. Play both sides of the ball, spread the floor. Like, it's really just, I couldn't think of a more center perfect for the Warriors because of, in a sense of, I don't know how well it's going to work out. It should work out well, but like you said, the disease has been solved and he's also kind of injury prone. But I think for the Warriors, what they're thinking is we finally got our guy, is most likely what they're thinking right now. And I think how that plays out for them and what this will change, it could be a lot or it could be nothing. Because Steve Kerr is still a coach. And so, and like, I just feel like he doesn't know what to do with guys who aren't immediate all-stars. Like, he has to find a way to fit Kristaps Porzingis in his game plan, and he's just now figuring out how to fit Jimmy Butler in. If Porzingis is constantly in and out of games, who knows if we really see him fully integrated into the system.
Yeah, to even think about the Steve Kerr issue. Like, Porzingis will miss games, so it's like
Yeah.
who is going to be filling in that spot, and especially since you lost Kaminga. Well, I'm not even going to say you lost Kaminga because you weren't really playing him anyways.
Yeah.
So it's just who's going to make up all these points, all this defensive pressure. I don't know, and I think Steve Kerr also doesn't know.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and then our last trade of the trade deadline, and then maybe we can go over some waves. I only know one though. Our last trade of the trade deadline, the the Wizards got Anthony Davis from the Mavericks, and this was, I didn't even know this was a 3-team trade until right now. Charlotte received Malachi Branham. Dallas received Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Tyus Jones, Marvin Bagley, a 2026 first round pick, a 2030 first round pick, and 3 future second round picks. The Wizards received Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum. So the Wizards got rid of a lot of the misfit toys, and Dallas got the guy they traded for their franchise player. Like, I don't even know what to say, bro. I'm utterly speechless right now.
Yeah, Luca turning into Chris Middleton in 2026 is disgusting. Especially none of the other players are promising either. AJ Johnson, Tyus Jones, Marvin Bagley. I don't care about any of those players.
Misfit toys.
You also got only one good pick out of this, the 2030 from Golden State. That could be like Steph Curry retires by that point.
Yeah.
2026 OKC. That's dead last, bro. That's like the worst pick you could get for the first round.
Mm-hmm.
3 future seconds I also don't really care about. Then you're losing Anthony Davis, obviously, who only played like 30 games.
Who's already out for the rest of the season.
Jaden Hardy. Yes, he's already out. Um, Jaden Hardy, who was a rotational piece, D'Angelo Russell, I think you're okay with leaving behind. And Dante Exum, I don't think the Wizards will get good value. I think Dante Exum was just well coached by Jason Kidd. Um, so maybe I don't know. I don't think you're sore about that, but it's just like this isn't a great trade package for Davis. I think the Wizards make out like bandits.
Yeah.
Asterisk. I'll put an asterisk there. 'Cause you didn't really have to lose. Honestly, you want to get rid of these guys if you're the Wizards. Because now your young guys have more rotational time. And then now you're pairing Trey Young and Anthony Davis next year. And the
Yeah.
asterisk I bring up is that fucking injury history is like
It's getting worse,
I
bro.
would never ever in a million years trade for an Anthony Davis for a Zion Williamson. It's just you're getting a part-time basketball player for a whole lot of money, for a whole lot of like importance. Like it so much hinges on them playing in order to win games and be an actual competitive team. Because we just saw Dallas be awful with in the Davis era. And it also sucks considering the Mavericks still have Kyrie on the team. Like what are they going to get for that man if they just got fleeced multiple times over? It's just I think at least you've washed your hands of the Luka trade and you can move on committing to the Cooper Flag era,
Mm.
but you didn't get any value really. This is just I can't really make much out of it.
Yeah,
It's just I feel bad for Mavericks fans.
yeah, it's a really really crazy 2 years for Dallas. Um, Trading your franchise player and then trading the guy you traded your franchise player for to get a one good pick and a bunch of remedial like bench players. Like it's just it's just crazy, bro. Like how quickly they tore apart their franchise, and then they had the audacity, or maybe they didn't release it. And maybe a rumor came out. I'm not sure if it was a rumor or they actually stated it, um, like an actual like known fact. But apparently they didn't want to deal with the Lakers. They like purposely like we're not dealing with the Lakers at all, as if the Lakers were the ones in the wrong. Like, come on, bro. It could have been like anyone would have accepted that trade. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, the Lakers are some evil, dastardly villains who are like, you didn't read the fine print. We get Luca too. Like, no, bro. You willingly traded that man away. So don't come out here and try to paint the Lakers as these, like, evil, dastardly villains when you just been making bad mistake after bad mistake. And Cooper Flag, has been good for them, and he has been looking to be a pretty solid rookie. But it's only took like a half the season for you to do that. You're finally playing him the right way, and now it's just like you're back at square one. You have to rebuild around this guy who looks like he could be a franchise player when you already had that team. You already were, you already did have a team that was built around a franchise player. Now you have to do it all over again.
Yeah, but they're going to have to rebuild in with Cooper Flag in an era where Victor Wembanyama is already competitive in such an early career.
Yeah.
So you don't know what that looks like in 5 years when you hopefully start to actually get competitive again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh, bro, I don't think there's been a worse trade in all of sports history. Like if we take it back to when, the Mayans were playing their sport, there was no trade back then that beats this.
Yeah.
Like they gotta, now that Davis is gone, they gotta start calling it the Luka Doncic Max Christie trade because that's essentially what it was. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's at least I think the Wizards are taking a position similar to the Jazz, where you've been so bad for so long. At least you now set yourself up to play competitive basketball again, which is exciting. But I think now that the Bulls have torn themselves down, the Wizards slide themselves right into being that mid play-in team consistently.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
that
only
too.
say that because Trey Young, his Ox era was just defined by mid, and now you throw Anthony Davis in the mix, who will give you great games, but he will also miss games. So, and those young players, I think, will benefit from both these top two talents, and hopefully develop in a way that uh, I would say reinforces those two talents. But they're also going to figure out when those guys get injured or in and out of the rotation. So yeah, that just sets them up to be that playing team. I think personally.
No, I agree completely. I think the Wizards are, who's gonna beat this team in the play-ins. Like it's crazy how well the Wizards are going from worst team in the league year after year to they are on the tracks to be building something, and all it took was one trade deadline. What took Mavericks 5 years to build took the Wizards, you know, one trade to bring it all down, you know? And you can say the Lakers are the ones who destroyed the Mavericks, but the Wizards, they officially put the nail in the coffin. Um,
Yeah.
the Mavericks built up this insane team, this roster built for this one man, and now the Wizards are the ones who get to throw the last shovel of dirt on the grave, and it's just like it's crazy how that goes. I think we would be talking about these teams in two completely different ways, but we're not. Dallas is the one who's getting fleeced, and the Wizards are the ones who are making the most out of nothing right now. And the crazy part is this was the last trade of the deadline. You know, it's like the last trade of the deadline was seeing a historic franchise go out with a whimper. All right. Any final thoughts? Any waves you want to bring up?
I thought Cam Thomas getting waived instead of at least getting traded for like a second rounder somewhere was a bit insane. And now they're saying like Cam Thomas might not even find an NBA team,
Really?
which I get. Like he's that scoring archetype where it's just pure scoring, nothing else. But there's so many teams that need that, even like a team that wants to, get more competitive, maybe like better their play-in chances, like the Heat. I feel like Eric Spoelstra could get some value out of Cam Thomas coming off the bench, but maybe just that no passing, always looking for the bucket type deal is, I don't know, not valued even a little bit in this league.
Yeah. So that was the wave I was going to talk about as well. Um, because we did have a trade deadline prediction episode coming out, and I had Cam Thomas going to the Kings, just because the Kings' offense is so stale that like a guy who's coming off the bench just trying to get a bucket is gonna make your team just a tier better. Like, let's be honest, your offense is so boring and so stagnant that like a guy who's coming off the bench who's just there to make his points column go up is actually going to be a lot more helpful than you might realize. But then he got waived, and I didn't know no team was interested. So now I'm kind of like, damn. I really hope he doesn't fizzle out of the league because he's been a guy who we bring up almost every trade deadline for the past like 2.5 years now. We brought him up in trade talks because I really do think he's a talent that someone can use, and now the Nets waived him, and he's probably gonna be in, Europe or China, and that kind of sucks,
Yeah.
bro. Because I honestly thought he could be a great spark plug off the bench.
I feel like this circles back to my feelings about league expansion, and there's too much talent in the league. And I think he's just a victim of that. I get not wanting to have Cam Thomas as a starter,
Yeah, no, that makes
but
sense.
like I see him, I see him as an important bench piece for certain teams. Like even when you bring up the Kings, like the Kings just traded two of their bench guards. Like, hello, that's like a perfect landing spot for Cam Thomas.
Yeah,
Especially since I don't know what the Kings are doing. They're so bad, and they didn't, move Sabonis. They couldn't move DeMar or Levine or any piece really aside from those two guards. So Cam Thomas might be the move for them.
yeah, and this might be a conversation for a different day, but I think the Cam Thomas archetype is no longer wanted in the NBA. The spark plug off the bench, he nobody wants that. I mean, you look at Imani Bates, who wasn't that good, but the best archetype that fit Imani Bates was spark plug off the bench. Anthony Simons just got traded. Granted, a very solid reason to be traded, but now you know he also fits that spark plug off the bench, and now Cam Thomas. And so it's just like maybe NBA teams don't want that archetype anymore, but I don't know why. I feel like those are the best archetypes. Those archetypes won multiple types of rewards. Sixth man of the year has always been a guy who was just on the floor to get some buckets, and now, I guess it's no longer wanted. All
Yeah, as
right.
a fan, like they always got the craziest highlight reels.
Yeah.
Um, and for that to go extinct, bro, I feel like the game would hurt because of that. I can't. I hope someone signs Cam Thomas. I hope Anthony Simons gets a long-term contract next season because I think his expires. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see if it really is the end of this archetype real soon.
All right. Well, I guess one last talking point before we wrap it up here. Winners and losers of this deadline.
I think any team that found themselves under the first apron, the second apron, the luxury tax, whatever, the money saving moves that we really didn't care to talk about because they weren't interesting on as a fan, I think reshapes what this offseason is going to be.
Yeah.
So because of moves made this trade deadline, this offseason will be very interesting because of it.
Yeah.
Biggest loser for me, Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Uh, what? Pat Riley, do something. The Pelicans, what are you doing? We're back to Chicago Bulls last year and previous seasons. We're like, you should have blown it up. And now we're going to go next season, and this team's going to be bad again because they didn't do nothing. And then it's just like, yeah, we tried to tell you. So yeah, Pelicans are up there, also a big loser. But way more surprising of a deadline than I expected it to be. People were going to say it was crickets. I'm glad it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think loser Heat, which is crazy to say when you have the Mavericks. I think it's crazy that a team who traded away such a key figure in such a big trade, probably the biggest trade we've seen in the sport. The fact that you're still more of a loser than that team says a lot. Get it together. You're making Miami basketball not fun. And then winner, bro. I think Jazz are the winners, bro. They made so many smart moves this trade deadline. Not even just the Jaren Jackson stuff, but um, they just didn't get rid of anything unnecessary when you really think about it. Um, they have so many second round picks. The guys they gave up for Jaren Jackson Jr. aren't guys that makes me think like, oh man, but that's gonna hurt them. Um, I don't know. It's just really interesting to see the Jazz be so prominent this trade deadline. Um, Now, if Lonzo Ball, doesn't get waived, or oh wait, he already did, right?
I'm not sure. I just know that was the plan.
If he doesn't get waived, and maybe he does something special, it's gonna look good for them. But I think getting a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr. and not having to give up that much realistically, I think that makes you one of the biggest winners, if not the winner. Who do you have for winner?
Oh, that was the any team that got under,
Oh,
the
that's right.
trade financial rules and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, we appreciate you tuning in this week. Let us know who you think were the winners and losers of this trade deadline. What do you think was the biggest trade? If you're listening on podcast platforms, make sure you give us that good old 5 stars. Leave a review. We're also on YouTube, Aspen the Rock, so make sure you like and subscribe there. All social media platforms as well for clips, episode updates, all that good stuff. We appreciate you tuning in, and we hope to see you again next week. Goodbye. Yeah.
You know what? I think you should add in the outro is you should give a kiss goodbye.